Welcome to Discovery Watch with John Kaiser.
I'm your host, Jim Goddard. John, Camino Minerals reported results for the remaining holes of its Los Chapitos copper discovery this week, and the stock retreated. You had high hopes for that hole number 4. Good or bad?
The hole number 4 turned out to have not hit the copper sulfides that were hit by hole number 2. And the reason is that the RC drill rig did encounter the oxide copper at surface and return the sort of grades that we are expected. But when it entered the relatively barren magnetite portion of the system, the hole deviated downwards and was almost going near vertical. They pushed it to 360 meter depth in an effort to try and break through to where the sulfides are, but they failed. And when they reported those results, the stock retreated back to $1.10 level. It had hit $2.23 last week when people had high expectations. Now the stock has settled into sort of a trading range of $1.10, $1.20. Now, the news was disappointing because the hole had been targeted in an area where the magnetic anomaly intensifies and where the somewhat deeper chargeability IP anomaly indicating sulfides also starts to show up. However, the failure to go through and hit the similar 106 meters of 1.3% copper is not truly a negative thing. It simply means the confirmation that we have a super new discovery has been postponed until the company brings a core rig onto the property. And they have made the decision to do core rig because it gives them better understanding of the geology, and also because the downward type of deviation that the RC rig is encountering at the Los Chapitos project, that won't happen, because the trick is these are probably somewhat vertical tabular bodies on the flanks of the magnetite body, where the fluid flow, the IOCG fluid brine flow, has encountered the magnetite and it's replaced the magnetite, and which serves as kind of like a sponge. And they are only able to drill from this angle from sort of the northwest drilling southeast. They need to punch through that in order to intersect the enriched copper sulfide mineralization. And so it was disappointing we didn't get the complete confirmation right away, but the model is still intact. They will be back on the property in early May drilling, and they intend to move very quickly and get the assays out so that we can see that this indeed is a major discovery that deserves to be delineated. Camino will be presenting in my session at the Metals Investor Forum on Friday, May 5th in Vancouver at the Rosewood Hotel. Hopefully Ken McNaughton will be doing a great job helping a broader audience understand the geological context that they see taking shape at Los Chapitos.
The stock is close to having traded above 35 cents for 10 days. Has Camino accelerated the expiry of 10.5 million warrants?
Well, they did a financing about 2 or 3 months ago at 10.5 million units at 20 cents, which had 10.5 million warrants exercisable at 25 cents. And if the stock traded above 35 cents for 10 consecutive days, the company had the right to accelerate the expiry of those warrants from the 2-year term it has right now to within 30 business days. And when the stock took off a week and a half ago, we say, okay, these are going to be triggered. But it turns out that the 35-cent threshold was triggered about a month and a half ago already, when the stock was under accumulation sort of between 35 and 40 cents. And I talked to Ken McNaughton about, well, even if you accelerate it now, the warrants, you can't sell the stock you get, because it'll still be restricted under the 4-month hold restriction, and you can't sell the original share that you had either until about June 15th. And he has sort of suggested that he does not want to inflict on the backers, when this was just another grassroots exploration play, the need to scramble and basically find more money to exercise those warrants or risk letting them expire. I think he will sit on the trigger and wait until the private placement is free trading, which is mid-June, and then pull the trigger and then pull in another $2.5 million from the warrants. And by then we hope to have the confirmation that indeed Los Chapitos is shaping up as another Mina Justa style of major high-grade copper discovery. It turns out that he did get the assays rushed once he realized the situation he was in. They would like to do a financing, maybe raise $5 million. If they can do this above $1, that will give them all the fuel they need to pursue the delineation drilling of this new discovery. And they should be in a position to have a lot more drill holes on the table for when that private placement comes free trading, because there is concern in the market there that these people who put up, $2 million just a couple of months ago are sitting on a potential 5 to 10 bagger already. And the idea that there's 20 million shares that will be suddenly hitting the market, that's not something that Ken McNaughton, the CEO of Camino, really relishes having to deal with. So I wouldn't really worry about the accelerated expiry for those warrants.
Discovery Watch with John Kaiser will be right back after the break.
Aben Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Aben's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at abenresources.com.
I'm Larry Ray, President and CEO of American Manganese, Inc., listed on the TSX Venture, ticker symbol AMY, A-M-Y, with proprietary patents in the U.S., China, and South Africa. Our focus is on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. China recently legislated the responsibility for recycling onto their electric vehicle manufacturers and importers. For more information, please visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're chatting with John Kaiser. John, a month ago you introduced SK Mining as a potential blast from the past. Has the deal with Silver Standard been completed?
After the lawyers spent many weeks messing with all kinds of details, they finally signed off on the agreement. SK Mining announced that Silver Standard's option to earn 60% of the SIB Lulu project in the Golden Triangle of British Columbia is now official. The company's geological consultant, Charlie Gregg, will be running the program in close cooperation with Carl Edmonds from Silver Standard. They will begin probably drilling early to mid-June when the snow conditions allowed them to get in there. And this will be a very high-profile exploration program because, as we discussed before, the Lulu Zone was discovered in 1990-91 in the midst of the original SK Creek discovery, which delivered a phenomenal 2.5 million ton deposit of over 1 ounce per ton gold and 70 ounce per ton silver. Turned out 3.5 million ounces of gold and 180 million ounces of silver from a fairly small deposit. And on the property to the south, another couple juniors, they had intersected similar style mineralization. The grade is about half the grade of what the SK Creek deposit turned out to be, but it was a grade very similar to the original 109 discovery hole that kicked everything off in late 1989. but subsequent drilling did not find any size to the Lulu zone, and later work established that a thrust fault had literally detached this zone from its source, kind of like the tip of an iceberg has been chopped off and moved away from the hidden iceberg. So the strategy now is to go in there and drill angled holes in through the footwall in the hope of intersecting the stratigraphy that hosts the rest of the Lulu zone. And given the kind of geological context, the fact that they have encountered smoke through vertical holes that have been drilled through the thrust fault and into the underlying stratigraphy, this is a very, very smoky geological setting, and the goal is to find a fire. Now, what is this potentially worth? Well, I've done an outcome visualization, which people can check out on my website, kaiserresearch.com, in the outcome visualization section, where I have imagined what if they were to actually find an exact replica of the original SK Creek deposit. What would that be worth today? And so I've run the same kind of mine numbers as Homestake did in the old days, and that project today, at today's metal prices and with today's costs, would be $3.1 billion Canadian. That's a world-class system. So at this stage, since it's just a target, a fair value of that project would be about $44 million, which is what the company is trading at. However, because the company nets only 20%, when you do the math, it's actually being valued at about $200 million, which means that if there is another SK Creek deposit on the Silver Standard land, the upside limit for SK mining is about $5. However, if they do start getting smoke within the SIB Lulu project optioned by Silver Standard, the Corey project to the south starts becoming very interesting. And that's where almost $20 million has been spent by SK Mining during its earlier life. There's an awful lot of smoke there, too. It's similar geology, and the company owns it 100%. So what I'm hoping is that the Silver Standard deal brings eyeballs to this company, that gets its valuation maybe up to 50, 60 cents level, and then attracts a financing where they can go in there maybe with $5 million to tackle the 100% ground. And if they were to find SK Creek 2 on that ground rather than the ground that Silver Standard has, the upside limit is substantially bigger. It's about a $26 price target, and which is why at the current price, 35.40 cents, this is what you call classic exploration type speculation. So it's a wonderful development that this deal got signed, that somebody's going to be spending at least $4 million this year, possibly more, that we may have a major discovery happening in the Golden Triangle that literally is hopefully a repetition of the excitement that we had over 25 years ago.
Discovery Watch has been waiting a while now for a mining lease for the Ningan project of Scandium International. Any update?
Well, when the Scandium International Mining Corp got its development consent in November last year, management was quite optimistic that they would maybe get it before Christmas, because a mining lease in New South Wales is more a documentation type of a permit. The development consent is the key hurdle that needed to get a go-ahead to develop a mine in New South Wales. And the management sort of figured, well, if they didn't get it done before Christmas, Australians go on holiday for a month, come back in mid-January, so maybe we get it by mid to late January, maybe early February. Well, that did not happen, because in mid-January, the Premier of New South Wales decided to resign for family reasons. New people came in. They then also decided to reorganize the two departments that straddle the development consent and the mining lease. And all of a sudden, poor Scandium International, whose John Thompson has put many mines in Australia into production and worked them through the permitting process and would have filed everything by the book that was required. All of a sudden, they're getting new requests. Well, we want documentation of this, and then we want documentation of that. And so this dragged on for a while, and frankly, I myself had started to think, oh no, they're like reinventing their entire mine lease approval protocols, and when they get one batch of documentation, then they dream up something else to ask for, and they'll drag this on forever. But the company hasn't received any new requests for about a month. They've submitted everything that has been asked for by New South Wales, and so you ask yourself, well, when will they finally grant this mining lease? Well, while I was searching on the internet, I discovered that the mining lobby for New South Wales is putting on a one-day conference in Sydney in the Parliament buildings, where on May 8th, which is just over a week away from now, and it's kind of funny. They have one of the big wigs from the Mines Ministry in Queensland, which is to the north of New South Wales, giving the keynote talk about getting it right in terms of approving mines and so on. And then on comes the minister from New South Wales to make some sort of award and also talk about how wonderful New South Wales is for developing mines. And then at 2:50, John Thompson is giving a talk on putting Ningan into production. And so I'm thinking, could these regulators possibly have this all teed up with John Thompson talking about the permitting process and how things work in New South Wales, and this mining lease is still somewhere off in limbo land? I would think not. I would think that we will have a mining lease sometime next week ahead of this conference, because surely we're not going to see the New South Wales minister look like a doofus compared to the Queensland deputy person who is going to be talking about how great it is in Queensland, and then New South Wales can't even deliver a mining lease for a 250-ton per day operation. I would think this is going to be a kickoff that New South Wales is ready. It's got its mining permitting regime all fixed up, and it's ready for business.
Discovery Watch with John Kaiser. We'll be right back.
GEM International is a new diamond explorer in the richest diamond producing country in Africa, located next to the fourth largest producing diamond mine in the world. International spotlight is on an 1109 carat diamond recently discovered in Africa by a fellow Canadian junior with a proven operator and finance team. GEM International trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol GI. Visit us at gemdiamondmining.com.
Lotus Ventures Inc. is a BC-based medical marijuana company poised to launch into the rapidly evolving cannabis sector. Lotus is in the final review stage of the Health Canada approvals to become a licensed producer, having arranged facility financing of up to $12 million, plus building permits for its prototype indoor production facility. Shares trade under the symbol J on the Canadian Securities Exchange. Visit our website at lotusventures.ca.
Welcome back. John, do you have any new projects for Discovery Watch?
The company I'd like to introduce today is GT Gold, which is a relatively new company. It did a reverse takeover of a capital pool late last year. It is headed by Kevin Keogh, and their project is in the Golden Triangle, at the northern end of the Golden Triangle in northern British Columbia, somewhat west of the Red Chris copper mine that Imperial has put into production. And it turns out that Charlie Gregg is also the key consultant on this project. And Charlie Gregg is, of course, the person who's going to be running the program at SK Mining. So he's going to be a very busy person this year. Now, what makes GT Gold very interesting is they own the Tatoga project, where two substantial golden soil anomalies have emerged, the Saddle North and the Saddle South. And this is an interesting project because 25 years ago, when everybody was exploring in the Golden Triangle in the wake of the Eskay Creek discovery, this area would have been covered by ice. And there's people out there who think that global warming is a figment of a vast conspiracy out there to trick the oil industry into cutting back on its oil production and other fossil fuels and so on. But global warming is a reality, and in northern British Columbia, it is exposing major regions to prospectors which has never been available. And so the Saddle North and Saddle South, there's a substantial sort of 2 by 2 kilometer anomaly, golden soil. They have some outcrop, good grades from the outcrops, 10 to 15 gram per ton. And they have just finished a $3.2 million financing in the low 30s. Their treasury is now almost at $5 million. They are going to go in there with initially an RC drilling program to sort of map out this area to try and see where the structures are that control this. They, in their presentation, they make an analogy that this thing has the sort of same scale as Pretium's Valley of the Kings, which is now in production, and we should hear soon what sort of grades they are getting from that operation. So this is early stage. It's grassroots. It has never been drilled. It is a new prospect generated as a result of people investigating parts of the Golden Triangle that have become exposed through receding glaciers. So this one is our new Discovery Watch candidate. They'll be in there in June, same time as Eskay mining. This is, of course, northwestern British Columbia, where in winter the rain is a lot of snow, so you just can't get in there until June. But it'll be a very busy program, busy season, drilling season up in the Golden Triangle this summer.
And John, you're going to be at the Mines and Mineral Conference in Vancouver next weekend?
That's right. On Friday and Saturday, the Metals Investor Forum. My presentation is at 10 in the morning at around 10:40 or so. There are several of our Discovery Watch companies which are also recommendations of mine presenting in my session, and I think this conference will be a pretty exciting one. There's a link on my website where you can register. However, I've just received word that they've already achieved their delegation registration limitation. So if you do want to go, put yourself on the list there. It's a waiting list because there's always people who cancel. But I think this is going to be a very intense show because although the market has been somewhat sluggish, you can just tell there's money going to treasuries. We talked, a couple of weeks ago about the $700 million raised in March by TSX Venture listed resource companies. This is the biggest amount of money raised in 1 month since June of 2011. We're in year 2 of what I think is going to shape up to be a 4 to 5 year discovery exploration bull cycle, and with projects like Camino coming up with good results, with high-stakes projects like Eskay Mining coming up. I think by the end of this year, we will have multiple new discoveries on the table that will be getting investors exciting. So this conference is a good one to attend to. The companies have 10 minutes only to make their pitch. Then afterwards, you track them down at their table and you get the detailed presentation. It is an excellent forum for finding out about exploration juniors.
Speed dating for miners.
In a sense, it is. There's about 30 companies there, and they have 10 minutes to hook you. And I'm going to be figuring out which one of the 4 in my session wins the prize for having the most compelling 10-minute presentation.
John, thanks for the update.
You're welcome, Jim.
We've been talking with John Kaiser, his website, kaiserresearch.com. Discovery Watch will be back next week. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on Discovery Watch are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at howstreet.com. Discovery Watch is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.